CBS.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Good evening. An immediate pause in the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. That is the advice this evening from the FDA and the CDC.
All of this comes after reports of potentially dangerous but very rare blood clots among women. Still, Georgia and South Carolina are not taking any chances. They're halting all distributions of the vaccine.
Our News 12's Brady Trapnell spoke with our local experts about how concerned we should be, and he's on your side this evening with some answers.
Richard, experts at AU tell me they aren't sure yet how concerned to be. The information and data is still new. But here's what we do know. The FDA and CDC are reviewing 6 reported cases of rare blood clots. All 6 cases occurred in women 6 to 13 days after vaccination. And to put this all in perspective, we're looking at 6 cases out of nearly 7 million doses administered. And today we spoke with one local woman who just got her vaccine a little over a week ago. And she said she's not too concerned.
It's a little alarming, but I don't really have any concerns for myself personally.
Alicia Baker from Evans got the J&J shot 9 days ago. She got a dull headache and was tired the first day, but has been fine ever since.
Right now, I'm not nervous. I'm glad that I can be aware of it, but I'm not nervous because I feel like I'm in good health.
But experts aren't sure how much good health will help with this particular issue. Although very rare, Dr. Joshua Weich with AU Health thinks the decision to pause is wise.
What we want to look at is there a causation or a correlation between the vaccine and these blood clots?
The reported 6 cases are in a similar group of patients.
They all occurred in females between the ages of 18 and 48 and had symptoms 6 to 13 days post-vaccination.
And the cases reported similar side effects.
Severe headache, abdominal pain, leg pain, or shortness of breath, and it's within 3 weeks of seeing the vaccine. Don't be afraid to reach out and contact your healthcare provider.
AU Health hasn't given any Johnson & Johnson shots since they were approved, but the Richmond County Health Department has. Director Stephen Goggins says they won't be giving any more of the shots until the data is reviewed, and instead will give Pfizer and Moderna for those appointments.
For our country, it concerns me, but overall for myself, I'm not concerned.
And that's another big concern for health officials. They're already dealing with enough vaccine hesitancy, but tomorrow the CDC's advisory committee will meet to decide next steps. And in the meantime, if you've had an appointment scheduled to get the J&J vaccine, health officials say your clinic will likely switch over to Moderna or Pfizer.
Brady, thank you. In South Carolina, DHEC says only 5% of the state has gotten the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. But in our rural communities like Saluda, the single-dose shot is the go-to shot. And since it's easily stored and given at the nearest pharmacy, it is much more convenient than going to a hospital that might be far away.
Most people don't have access to that transportation to go. That's probably an hour and a half ride. So, I mean, it's local community. It's, a lot of elderly that, don't drive anymore. I do a lot of deliveries, and we got a lot of people that just walk to town. It is a very rural community, so it meant a lot to them. It really did.
Banks Drugs in Saluda says they still have people calling asking if they can still get the shot anyway, and he's told them no, but he does have 330 shots waiting in the fridge for when he gets the all clear. Well, the I-Team spent the day digging into this data as well, and Meredith Anderson breaks down the risk and similarities to blood clots in Europe. Meredith.
Richard, the risk in the U.S. with Johnson & Johnson is 1 in a million, or 6 women out of 6.8 million. So I ran the math, and that is this percentage here. Yeah, that's 5 zeros after the decimal point there. Still, 1 woman died, another is in critical condition, so it's enough for the CDC and the FDA to urge this pause. This pause, by the way, expected to last a few days. In all 6 of these patients, the clots were in the brain. It is called cerebral venous sinus thrombosis. It is extremely rare. All 6 of the patients also had low levels of blood platelets. Doctors say overall, don't be alarmed. A woman's risk is actually higher with birth control than it is with the J&J vaccine. Risk of a clot is also higher with COVID. In a statement, Johnson & Johnson said they were aware of the blood clots, but so far, no direct link had been established. The vast majority of COVID vaccines in the U.S. are, of course, from Pfizer and Moderna. They use a different technology, and so far, there is no documented risk of blood clots. The White House says there is enough vaccine to inoculate most American adults by the summer with just Pfizer and Moderna. And as Brady mentioned, the CDC will meet tomorrow to talk more about these cases while the FDA is launching its own review.
Much more news ahead, but let's have a live look out
On that coming up in just a little bit.
Happening now, groups in Burke County rallying outside the courthouse there in Waynesboro, calling for State Representative Barry Fleming to be fired from his role as county attorney there. News 12 Celeste Springer live for us in Waynesboro. Celeste, why do these groups say that they want Fleming fired?
Protesters say they think that when Barry Fleming supported the new Georgia voting bill, that he wasn't acting on behalf of the people. All the protesters that were out here earlier just headed inside to the Burke County Commission meeting, urging them to fire him from the position of the county's lawyer. They say they simply can't support someone who supports this bill.
For him to support a bill like that, to me, he's going with the white supremacists. And we're not going to have that anymore. We are all the color of God.
And coming up at 11, we'll also take a closer look at how much money Representative Fleming has made from being the county's lawyer. We'll also hear more from protesters about what they think needs to be done.
Celeste Springer there with a very vocal protest in downtown Waynesboro. Thank you, Celeste, for that. Mayor?
Just wrapping up in the last hour, a virtual...
Well, there's a new neighborhood coming to Columbia County. It's causing some buzz. It'll be the area's first agricultural community where homes are actually built around farms.
It is a huge development for the county that already has 2 Amazon fulfillment centers in the works. Want to go now to News 12's Will Ryu. He's live at the side of that new neighborhood off Wrightsboro Road. And Will, you tell us, though, not everyone is on board with all of this growth.
Well, that would be correct, Meredith. Not everyone is on board. Many neighbors I spoke to today say that right across the street here of Wright's Farm, that they're very upset. They say that the planning was very ill-advised. I mean, you can see the traffic here right behind me on Wrightsboro Road. I mean, they're saying that this is one of their major concerns. We just had a couple cars right behind me that were trying to turn left onto the road for the last 15 minutes and still couldn't get out. Again, that's what the neighbors say that they're trying to fight for. In this neighborhood right behind us, we're actually going to swing you around here so we can see the neighborhood. It's actually built on an active farm here. It's built around that active farm where a lot of these locals can get a lot of those local goods that can help them kind of thrive in this kind of situation. It's 115 acres and 269 homes that are expected to live here. A lot of these neighbors who live right across the street here say it's a major concern because, I mean, that's almost 400 cars if you think every house here has at least 2 vehicles in it. But a lot of this new agriculture, it's actually called an agri-hood, and they say it's a new design to help give those locals some good goods, and it will help them to get some of those vegetables into those local homes there. And a lot of people can contribute. You can come out and garden with them, and you can really help to get that. It's designed to get that food from the garden to the plate exactly. And Southeastern Homes say that this neighborhood is in high demand. It's high traffic, so they're saying the phase 1 is actually wrapping up pretty nicely, and they filled up that whole phase. Guys?
Quick question, if you can hear me okay, Will. While you were out there, anybody come out to oppose or support that plan?
Yeah, actually, I spoke with a couple of the neighbors. People were walking through the neighborhood, and I was talking to one of the developers, and it was actually a heated exchange between one of the neighbors that were walking by and the developer. I mean, people were saying that they're putting in a turn lane here right behind me on Wrightsboro Road, but people were asking for that traffic. I mean, traffic's backed up so far right behind us, so you can see we're going to take you over there right now. I mean, traffic's backed up. People are having to let each other out. Very heated exchange earlier, like we said, with the developer and a lot of local people living in the area. So a lot of unhappy people out here, but again, development and growth coming to Columbia County.
An agricultural neighborhood. That would be interesting to watch that one. Will Rio, thanks very much for the live update. You know, it's not just Columbia County seeing growth right now. Check out our new restaurant opening up. This is downtown Augusta, right next to the Miller. Grand opening today for Events on Broad Bistro. And this weekend, they tell us a new sweet spot is opening up over on 8th Street. They call that Holy Shakes. Meredith, sounds good.
Yeah, new at 6 o'clock, there's a new degree on the table over at Augusta University. Today, the University System of Georgia approved a PhD program in computer and cyber sciences. It'll be the first school in the university system to offer a PhD cybersecurity program. We've reached out to AU to find out when that is set to start.
Big move for them. Some local art could be on the way to downtown Augusta, even more so. Augusta commissioners moving forward with plans to buy more pieces. This is part of the city plan to get more around the city over the next couple of years, more artwork. The vote is one vote away from being finalized, and we'll track that for you as well.
70 new jobs coming to Aiken County as part of a manufacturing company's $13 million investment in the area. It is a metal building company. It's called Central States Manufacturing. The new facility will go here right off Sage Mill Parkway in Graniteville. The plan is for it to be built by September. If you're interested in applying for a job, we've got the links that you need to check out. We've put them on our website and our WRDW app. Just search jobs. Riley?
Well, we saw Try Beautiful.
Fairway Ford, your best price Ford dealer on Washington Road in Evans.
We know out-of-town guests are a welcome sight after the pandemic put a pause on events last year. The Masters, the Ironman, Arts in the Heart usually draw big crowds and big bucks to Augusta.
Right, but visitors forced here by weather events, that's another story. Thousands of evacuees flood into Augusta during hurricane season, but as our I-Team's Liz Owens explains, it is at an increasing cost to the community.
Hurricane season is just 2 months away. Over the past decade, the cities of Augusta and Savannah have had a mutual aid agreement, meaning if a hurricane hits Savannah, they send their citizens here where we care for them until it's safe for them to return. Well, that has added up over the years, so much so, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office says he can no longer partner with Savannah.
In this recent letter, Sheriff Richard Roundtree writes Interim Emergency Manager Mia Lucas, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office cannot continue to support Savannah-Chatham Hurricane Evacuation Memorandum for its citizens from Savannah to Augusta. 1,300 evacuated from Durand to here in 2019. In 2017, 3,000 from Irma. In 2016, 2,500 from Matthew. Richmond County spent a little more than $400,000 caring for evacuees during Irma. It's costly, regardless of future reimbursements.
A lot of the evacuees that are coming here are your more fragile community in general.
Stephen Benson is the Chief Operating Officer for Gold Cross. Gold Cross is the ambulance provider for Richmond County's 911 service. Georgia Emergency Management does not reimburse Gold Cross for services provided to evacuees.
If they're coming in through a bus, they may not have insurance or adequate resources for housing or medication.
Most are poor, many are sick.
I would say the majority of our calls last time the evacuees were here were for diabetic. A lot of people didn't have medication, they forgot it, they didn't have enough, and not just physical, but also we've seen more psychiatric and mental cases as well that are brought here.
A follow-up report on Hurricane Irma highlights a dire need. Dialysis appointments were delayed or missed. Public health had limited support. Mental health services were not initially available at the shelter.
How does that impact you guys financially?
We take a pretty large financial hit with that. Usually, we can't bill for many of the patients that we transport. Usually they are indigent. Or they do not have insurance or any way to pay their bill, so we end up having to write those bills off. We usually lose out over $100,000.
News 12 reached out to Chatham County Emergency Services in Savannah about the changes. We received this response. CMA Director Dennis Jones is aware of the letter from Sheriff Roundtree to Ms. Lucas and thanks the Sheriff's Office for their support for the past 10 years. Director Jones is continuing to work with Augusta Richmond County to explore other avenues of support during hurricane evacuation. As for Sheriff Roundtree, his letter also states, We stridently believe in assisting our sister cities, but feel that it is time for other cities to share the burden.
I think at the end of the day, no matter who you are, you want to be able to help your fellow man, and you never want to see, someone in need not be able to get help. And for us, that we're always going to provide that help, no matter what.
So what's next? The sheriff's letter said he can no longer partner under the current guidelines. Guidelines can be changed. He did say that he would give the Chatham County plenty of time to make adjustments before pulling out all support. Liz Owens, on your side.
And we know hurricane season will be here before you know it.
Absolutely. Can you believe it? Yeah, believe it or not, 1 year ago today, we were talking about tornadoes, Richard.
Yeah, we were. An outbreak that left a lot of damage across the area, and these are images from that day out of Aiken County, Orangeburg County. In total, we saw about 11 total tornadoes, including 5 bad ones, violent EF3 tornadoes in Barnwell County. So that's a real reminder right there.
It is, and we're talking hurricanes and tornadoes. I'm a coastal girl from South Carolina. I'll take a hurricane any day over a tornado because you have days and days and days warning.
Yeah. The twisters can spin up right on top of you,
right? Gosh, they do. It's scary.
And that was the scariest thing about the outbreak from a year ago is that these were moving through between 4 and 6 a.m. to when a lot of people were still asleep. Right. And I mean, we're talking violent tornadoes. 5 EF3 different tornado paths went through Barnwell County early that morning. So this was the Monday morning just.
Yeah, a lot of things can't change. It's so easy to judge.
More showers. Those appear to be isolated at the moment. Those temperatures just look to be a little bit below average Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of things can't change. It's so easy to judge when we meet a stranger. It's harder to read between the lines when we don't know.
A little piece of Nashville and North Augusta. That is Daniel E. Johnson. He is a country singer. And he's a songwriter, too, in the Music City, but he's from right here in our area in Thompson. He was out shooting a music video today along the North Augusta boat ramp. It's for his song called Get a Man Wrong.
That song talks about a veteran and the struggles that they go through and not judging a stranger before you really know their story.
Johnson says they decided to shoot the video locally, partnered up with Forces United. There'll even be some local veterans featured in the video. How cool is that?
Good to see. We'll be looking for that. Sports coming up next. If the Masters got you in the golf mood, there's a new amateur